Hi, I'm Catherine Mora. I'm a book coach and I work with coaches, speakers, and aspiring thought leaders to help them write beautiful books. Today's topic is the biggest mistake I made when writing my book. Now, there was probably more than one mistake, but the biggest one, can you guess what it was? It all started when I decided to write a book and I sat down and did my structure. I did hire someone to help me do a structure and I started writing. I had a newborn baby at the time. He was 6 weeks old, and people would say, "Sleep when he sleeps." And I'd go, "Ha ha ha, that's for amateurs. I'm going to write my book when he sleeps." And when he would go down for a nap, if I felt like it, I'd start working on my book. And of course, at the beginning, you're so enthusiastic, you're sort of writing. And then I would get feedback and it would need some work. And I was doing lots and lots of learning about my writing at that beginning stage all those years ago, because I was writing a novel, which was very different to anything I'd written before. So then as time went on, I got more and more tired because of course I wasn't sleeping. And I would write here and then I'd write there, and then I'd have a few weeks off and I'd write a bit more, and then I'd have a few months off and I'd write a bit more. And I was writing when I felt inspired, because I thought, well, I want this book to be great, so obviously I need to feel inspired. And then one day I was talking to my author friend Lisa Clifford, who lives over in Italy, and I said something to her about how I was having trouble. A book was coming along so slowly, and that I didn't feel inspired very often. And she said, "Don't wait until you feel inspired to work on your book. Like, that's the first biggest mistake." She said it in a much nicer way, by the way. She said, "You've got to write every day. You've got to approach it with a bit more discipline." So she told me about what her writing schedule looks like. I thought, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then my husband said to me one day, "What's happening with your book? Like, I haven't seen you sit at the computer for ages." And I said, yeah, I don't know, I just don't really feel like it. And he said, "Gee, you don't want to wake up at 70 and say, 'Damn, I wish I'd written that book.'" And I thought, oh my gosh, he's right. Nothing worse than regretting something that you didn't do because you were too lazy, or you weren't organized, or you just abandoned it for whatever reason. And I don't want that to be me. I was always abandoning projects, believe me, and I didn't want this to be another one. I was really serious about it. And then it took me until the third thing, because sometimes, it takes a few times before it actually sinks in and makes you take action. I was watching this interview with Nikki Gemmell, who is the author of Bride Stripped Bare. And back then she'd written 3 books. Now she's written, like 20 or something. But she was saying how she went to this adult writing class and everyone was so talented, and when she read their stuff she used to feel really crap, because basically she felt like she had no talent and they were all amazing. And she said, but 7 years later I've written 3 books and none of them have written any. And I realized that writing books isn't about talent, it's about discipline. And when she said that, I went, oh my gosh, she's so right. And I decided I was going to make it a discipline. I'd made a decision to write the book. I was going to take the action whether I felt like it or not, much like going to the gym or going to work or other things that you need to do every day to build that momentum, because it's discipline and action taking and momentum that gets books written. And I've worked with enough people now to realize it's all about that momentum. So it's writing every day, whether you feel like it or not. Even if that's only 15 or 20 minutes, I often say you're better off doing 15 minutes every day than doing 2 hours once a week, because you don't have momentum and it's too easy for that 2 hours to disappear because something else happened. So writing every day a little bit is what you want to aim for, or your book will just sit there half written or not written, because you didn't have the momentum and you didn't have the discipline. So the mistake that I made, that I don't want you to make, is don't wait till you feel inspired, because you know what? You will hardly ever feel inspired. You're always going to be tired and busy and things going on. How often do we get to sit around and be inspired by life or by our muse or whatever? It doesn't really happen, at least not in my life. So that was my big mistake. Don't fall into the same trap. Learn from my mistake, not from making it your own. Message me at any time if you want to talk about your book idea. If it's the right idea for you right now, we can talk about that. I'm happy to give you some opinions on that or thoughts on that, help you brainstorm what is the book that you're meant to be writing right now. And you can comment below or just PM me to arrange that chat. Otherwise, I also have a 45-step book writing and publishing checklist. I'm going to pop the link below. You just click through and tell me where to send it. It has everything you need to know from idea right through to publishing and promo. So let's have a chat, download the checklist, let's talk soon, and until the next video, bye for now.